How you doing? How you doing? This your boy John Doe. John Doe. How you John Doe? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? John Doe. John Doe. What's up, people? This your boy John Doe. How y'all doing, man? Another beautiful day, yes sir. Today we're gonna cover round one, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm just gonna cover the round one because that was like the most important round, and I think at the end of the draft I'm gonna do some type of wrap up. I tried to get everybody together yesterday for a podcast, but the pieces didn't fall in place. So I'm gonna try to get everybody together at the end of the draft, and we could most likely do a wrap up and discuss who we felt had like the best drafts and who we felt was really slacking in their picks this draft. But let me get on this first round. Everybody, the Texans had the first pick, and they picked Jadeveon Clowney, which, like I was saying yesterday, he is the best player in the draft. He was the best player overall in the draft. And number two, I would have to say that was Sammy Watkins. So, the Bills moving up. I know my boy Sick. He feel good about that shit, man. Sick the great. Shouts out to my homie. You know, like, he loved the Buffalo Bills. Now they got Sammy Watkins, Mike Williams, and Steven Johnson. They got can't forget about it. They got E.J. Emanuel, and they got C.J. Spiller. So they got one hell of an offense. I don't know who they got at tight end over there, but just the receiving core, the running back, and the quarterback, they got an explosive offense. So they're gonna do some things in the AFC East this year. You know, I definitely respect them moving up. I was hoping that Sammy fell down to the Bucks, but he didn't. The Bills moved up and they got him. I thought when they moved up, I thought they was gonna move up and grab what's his name, Khalil Mack. That's what I thought they was gonna grab, but they didn't. They ended up grabbing Sammy Watkins, which that was kind of shocking because I heard that they was really looking at Khalil Mack. So they grabbed C.J. Watkins. That was a great move and that was a great pick. When it come down to the Raiders, Khalil Mack went to the Raiders at number number 5. I seen the guy say he was a late bloomer. He didn't really get drafted. I'm really, the good teams have consistent drafts. Notice what I say. Good teams have consistent drafts. They draft consistently good players, draft after draft. They don't really reach too much trying to grab somebody who's really not projected to be good in early rounds. They take chances later. And even though Khalil Mack had a good combine and I guess pro day or whatnot, consistently he wasn't that player. Now we're gonna move on to somebody else. This is an ugly right here. And this team is known for drafting the uglies. Now the same height around this player was the same height that was around another player a couple of years ago. I don't know if y'all remember when Cam Newton came out. Yeah, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper. He was they kept on trying to push up Blaine Gabbert, saying we feel Blaine Gabbert is better than better than Cam Newton. He can do everything that Cam Newton can. He's a more accurate quarterback, this, that, and the third. Which I knew it was bullshit. It seems like every team in the draft knew it was bullshit. But they pushed this shit and they built up this hype for Blaine Gabbert. Even though his college career didn't show that. But they felt that way about Blaine Gabbert. So Jacksonville took him. Last night they took Blake Bortles. And as you know me, I'm not hating on the man. Like I said, he can be great. But the number 3 pick overall in the draft, he got to be more than great. Because this team has absolutely nothing. He don't have no time to develop. Like I was telling you, they say he's the prototypical quarterback. He got good size and all of this BS. Like I said, it's BS. For the simple fact, his college career don't show that. I don't care about combines. I don't care about workouts. I'm talking about your body of work. He had one good year where he won the BCS Bowl, and most of that was on the back of his running backs, Storm Johnson and so on. But they ran out and they got Blake Bortles. So when I think about Blake Bortles, I think about Blaine Gabbert. When I think about Manziel, I think about Tebow. Just like everybody else, because it's a real hit and miss with both of these quarterbacks. Yeah, they can come in and be all world, and then in the same notion, they can not be good at all. All right, we're gonna move on. Like I say, he's the Blaine Gabbert. That was one of the ugly picks. Somebody who I forgot to mention yesterday when I did my breakdown on what I felt about the players. I forgot to speak on Mike Evans, a great quarterback from Texas A&M. And if y'all watch Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel was there and Mike Evans was there, Mike Evans used to get Johnny Manziel out of a lot of BS. Manziel would scramble around and just literally throw the ball up, and Mike Evans was saving his ass. He one hell of a receiver. That was one great pick by the Buccaneers. Because I honestly thought they were finna get Johnny Manziel, and I was going to be pissed off because I felt it was too early to take a risk. And like I said, I feel it's a risk, and I gave, if you want to know why I felt it was a risk, y'all listened to the video yesterday. But they did the right thing. And Ray Lewis said something about when, because Johnny Manziel fell past the Cowboys. And he said something that was real. Ray Lewis now. We talking about somebody who's, you might well pin him in the Hall of Fame, because he's going to the Hall of Fame, one of the best linebackers to ever play the game. Ray Lewis say if the Cowboys pick up Johnny Manziel right now, when their defense was one of the worst defenses in history, they're showing that their team isn't trying to get better. And they're showing their fans that they're not trying to win right now. And those were powerful words, man. And it was the truth. Because they got a good, they don't need none on offense. Their offense is balling. You know, they needed a good defensive player. They needed somebody who can come in and help them out. Oh, no. They did get an offensive tackle. But that's a lineman, you know what I'm saying? Anything to keep Tony Romo upright. I cannot knock that. But that helps their team, you know, like. They didn't need a quarterback. You know, you don't do a first round. You don't take a first round player to have him come in and not be able to contribute for the next however many years. You know what I'm saying? You just gave Tony Romo $100 million. You know, over $100 million. So he's your franchise. You paying him like a franchise player? Hell, I want to say last year was one of the first years I really seen him play like a franchise player. You let him be your franchise. All right. Let me see who else was, because I'm not going over the whole draft. I'm just going over certain players. I can't believe they took so many linebackers before they took C.J. Mosley. You know, like when the Vikings took Anthony Barr, I'm like, I really felt that was a reach. That's another ugly. Because C.J. Mosley was still out there, and I feel he one of the best linebackers. Even when the Steelers took Ryan Shazier, I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all just gonna pass up on C.J. Mosley for real? Even though those outside and C.J. Mosley is considered an inside linebacker, but I felt he was the more pro-ready of the linebackers. They could have took somebody off their team and moved him to the outside, you know, shifting them around, did something better and took a more stable, you know what I'm saying, back. But, you know, people do strange things depending on, like, what I see will be completely different from what they see, you know. But history goes to show, if you pay attention, good teams draft good. Bad teams draft bad, and it's consistent, and it shows up year in and year out. You know, good teams gonna have good drafts. They don't get stuff to complement their team and better their team. Bad teams just gonna go out there and pick whatever hot or whatever they feel could be great. You know, they live on the hype. They don't build off of what they need and what's gonna help their team get better. You know, they build off of what's hot at the moment. You know. But with that being said, I'm gonna finish this off because this was one. Okay. Now I'm not gonna finish it off yet. When the Bucks took Mike Evans, this is my team. We had Menzel still on the board, which, like I say, I didn't want them to get Menzel. And you had Teddy Bridgewater still out there. Right now, the Buccaneers, I don't know how sold they is on. I think they got Josh McCown at the quarterback, and they got Mike Glennon, the two starting quarterbacks. Or what I mean, the quarterbacks they got. I think it's Josh McCown. I have to look it up, but they got that boy from Chicago. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Josh McCown. I'm gonna look it up right quick, and I'm gonna tell you. I like to be right when I say something, but basically the Browns went out and they picked up a cornerback, a damn good cornerback from OSU, which I felt he was real good at OSU. Justin Gilbert. I felt he was a damn good cornerback. So that was a great pick. But with that being said, they made their way back into the first round, and they came and they picked up Johnny Manziel. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're doing their thing. And I'm like, all right. I say, and at this time, Teddy Bridgewater, Josh McCown, I was right. All right, at this time, you still had Teddy Bridgewater still on the board. And I'm like, come on, man. Buccaneers, right now is your time to come back in the first round and get you a starting quarterback. And get you the best quarterback, I feel, that's in the draft, you know. and they slept on it. And the Vikings end up moving right back into the first round and getting Teddy Bridgewater. So I didn't like their first pick with the linebacker, but them coming back and getting Teddy Bridgewater is really gonna help. And Ray Lewis see that. Ray Lewis said, "Man, I know Adrian Peterson don't want one of these quarterbacks who he don't know gonna be good. He want a quarterback who he know got a good pedigree. He would probably want Teddy Bridgewater because Adrian Peterson is ready to win now." I was like, oh my goodness, he just said a mouthful. And I'm like, he feel how I feel, but this whole Johnny hype machine is crazy. I swear, this year's NFL draft might as well have been the Johnny Manziel draft. You get what I'm saying? Because every story, ESPN, NFL Network, was Johnny Manziel mania. That's all they talked about. Johnny Manziel this, Johnny Manziel that. He's still sitting. I can't believe he's still sitting. Can't believe he fell this far. You know, they was gonna make sure that Johnny Manziel got drafted in the first round. You know, but it is what it is. But when it comes down to good quarterbacks, it's still a bunch of them out there. Let me see it. In the more notable picks out there that I seen that just was like, damn, I was like, okay. Oh, the Saints coming back up and getting Brandon Cook. That was a great move by them. That was one of the best moves I seen yesterday. Oh, let me slip this in here, man. I almost forgot about one of the best quarterbacks still out there. Like, they haven't been talking about him, so I didn't forget about him. You know what I'm saying? Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater aren't just the best two quarterbacks. Somebody else who I feel is on their same level is Aaron Murray. But you haven't heard anything about Aaron Murray, so I almost forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? They made me forget about one of the best quarterbacks that's in the draft, man. Ain't that crazy? They made me forget about him. And that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's crazy. But and that's about it. But when it comes down to quarterbacks, see, the Bucs still got a chance. You still got AJ McCarron out there. You still got Derek Carr, which I feel Derek Carr, other than Teddy Bridgewater, them was my two best quarterbacks that I actually seen from last year. Yes, I said Derek Carr and Teddy Bridgewater. Them my number 1 and 2s when it come down to quarterbacks. And then behind those two still left. Like I said, you got AJ McCarron. He's more of a game manager. Like you can bring him in and have him manage games, which he would be good for the Bucs because he ain't gonna make like no real bad mistakes. You know, he gonna put the ball where it's supposed to be. He gonna lead your team. You know, I see him more of a Brad Johnson type. He ain't gonna never have no live arm. He ain't gonna never give you no spectacular plays, but he's not gonna lose the game for you either. You know, so that's why I see AJ McCarron. And then the person who they haven't spoke about the whole draft up to the draft is Taj Boyd. You know what I'm saying? Taj Boyd is major, and I don't hear nobody out there talking about Taj Boyd, but Taj Boyd is still out there as well. So, like I said, it's a few quarterbacks left. We'll just have to wait and see how it all unfolds. But like I said, this is going to be my last video I do until after the draft is over. You know, then I'm going to do like a podcast, you know, get a few people, and we go ahead and break down what we liked and what we disliked about the draft. But this your boy John, though. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm out. Later, people. Yeah.